In the garden on that night, he anguished for you. And his knees were weak and the sweat dripped down his face in torment for you. And he asked God to take it away because a day had come and the weight of what had to be done was beating him to the ground, but still his heart ached for you. And the dread of death was circling around in his head, much the same way it taunts you in your bed. But he anguished for you so that you could make it through. When the hour had come and the kiss was done, he was taken away and beaten for you, unjustly, savagely, and secretly mistreated for you, pushed and shoved in the middle of the night when hope is dark and out of sight. He was tried and beaten for you. And I don't mean just physically, but emotionally as well, because Satan was whispering in his ears that he would fail. And he had to call upon the Father to make him strong, when everyone around him had saying what he'd done had all been wrong. He thought you were the only one. No. It's all been done before. But the enemy's game never changes, that's for sure. But just know that he was beaten for you so that you could push through what the enemy does to you. He was pulled to a post, his hands tied, unable to move, and it was at this moment that he bled for you. The flogging went on forever, it seemed, much the same way your fears taunt you in your dreams. The braided leather gripped his body and ripped away flesh, much the same way that you punish yourself. But you must understand you don't have to hurt by your own hand, because his blood ran down his body and it struck the streets. It ran all the way down to where your sins lay, and it washed them away. Because he bled for you, so that he could be greater than what your sins could do. Men had decided that his fate was to die. You could hear it in their hateful howls as they cried, "Crucify." How weak he must have been when the cross was brought to him. But still he picked it up and walked for you. They say we have our own cross to bear and curse, but he carried the cross of every man and woman first. So just know the pain you feel and the hurt that you've been through, that he bore it on his shoulders and walked for you. Every heartbreak, every fear, every loss, and every tear, he's carried it and walked and carried it and walked and carried it and walked and carried it and walked for you. He was brought to the skull, also known as Calvary, a hill that was named for resembling death and mortality, and it was here, near the end, that he thought of you. His hands and feet were being nailed to a piece of wood, people shouting things so cruel and unkind, yet you crossed his mind. He was hanging among criminals, the strength to breathe becoming difficult, sweat still dripping, wounds still oozing, and he thought of you. He knew what you would do, and still he'd forgive you. He was making the ultimate sacrifice so that you could join him in paradise. He was dying, and he thought of you. "It is finished," are the words his bruised lips uttered. He drew his last breath, and the whole earth shuddered. Your debt had been paid because he died for you. I know you think you're not worth much. Not a look, not a glance, not even a touch, but what you must grasp is the fact that he gave his life for you, to make all things new. In this life, you will face trials that are unjust and people who are untrue, but it doesn't matter what they do, because he lived and died for you. He overcame this world to cover the lies with truth. So give your life to him, because he did it for you.